Alex1988 from Fortnite PvE community on Facebook, and I'm here to talk to you all about weapon and trap rolls. Sorry about the delay in this video. I know quite a few who've been asking and waiting for it, but hopefully this ends all question on, is my weapon good? So let's get into this. For starters, technically there are no bad rolls on a weapon. Every roll is good in its own right. Let's go check this one. So for this Tsunami, it's got 10% damage, damage to afflicted, headshot damage, slowed and snared, water with affliction. Now, the slowed and snared roll is completely useless. This gun has no trigger for that ability. So, on its own, as a standalone perk, it's going to do nothing. However, if I combo that with a slow field or wooden floor spikes or anything of the sort, then that perk will activate and become useful. A little bit higher, you'll see damage to afflicted targets. Now, normally that perk may be a bad roll as well. However, you'll see in that bottom ability, it adds affliction. So that ability there has its trigger attached to the weapon, which is really good. That's the kind of thing you want to see on a weapon. Now, gas traps. Gas traps are also useful for putting affliction on targets. They cause affliction, so in the description, will affect enemies with affliction damage over time. So if an enemy ran through my gas trap and popped out, this would deal bonus damage to them as well. Headshot damage is pretty straightforward. You just gotta land headshots. Raw damage is a really good roll. So I'll go straight to good rolls. So when you're looking at weapon rolls, it does come down to your hero build. If your hero is all about crits, you want to see crit rolls. If your hero is all about damage, you want to see damage rolls. A good example of this is, I go into my heroes, Swordmaster Ken. Most of his perks are all about raw damage. Critting would be nice with him, but why not just stack more damage and increase that percentage even further? Now, if we're going into crits, well, Raider Nomad, he's got a lot of perks for raw damage, but he also has a bonus there for crit hit damage. So, and his support bonus will give you extra crit chance. So for a shotgun, I'd want a lot of crit chance. And for the ninja, I just want a sword with lots of raw damage on it. Now, the ideal perks to look out for on a gun are damage, crit chance, crit damage, reload speed, and one of the elements. They're the 5 perks you want to look out for, and they're the 5 perks you want to see. Now, crit damage is nice, but if you don't have crit chance, it's a useless perk. What's the point of crit damage when you've got no crit chance? So just be wary of that. If you've got no way to increase your crit chance, the crit damage isn't going to mean anything either. On a melee weapon, the perks you want to see are crit chance, crit damage, damage, and an element. That's pretty much all you ever want to see on your melee weapons. Stuff like this hammer has stun, staggered, and knockdown. Well, the hydraulic surge, the rocket sledge, like a lot of the hammers in fact, have a high chance to stun, stagger, and knock down enemies. So those perks are not bad on that type of weapon. You'll find that that's going to trigger a lot, and you're going to get that damage a lot. The vacuum tube sword, if you read the description on it, it's a sword, deals nature damage against fire enemies. It's got them, that's a bad example. But most of the vacuum tube weapons, they mention down there that they cause a stun effect. So when you get damage to stunned enemies on a vacuum tube weapon, that's going to trigger that perk on the ability, even though it doesn't have a stun roll, because the stun roll is built into it. You just need to read those descriptions and see what weapons have. For example, the Masamune doesn't mention it has energy damage, but it is partly an energy weapon, and you can see that down in the description below. Sorry, just give me a moment here, I'm looking through. Traps. What should you be looking for in traps? Well, that entirely depends on the trap. So floor launches, reload speed and impact are the two big rolls you want to keep an eye out for. However, the durability is low, so I'm only going to get 24 uses out of that trap in a match. Before that trap disappears and needs to be replaced mid-game. Now, if you've got a lot of durability rolls on your trap, that's not terrible. It just means you're going to get more use out of the item, but it's not going to have as much of the other things. So you might have, for example, I got one here with a durability roll, double impact and double reload. And then I've got one here for triple reload and double impact. I'm still leveling this one, but we'll get there. So why would I have these two of the same trap with two different rolls? Well, that's simple. I would use this one on missions where I don't need my trap to last for as long, or I'd place it in strategic positions to where it's not going to be used and chewed up as often, and just get the maximum effect out of it. Whereas this one, I'd be more than likely to place somewhere where it's going to see a lot of action, because I want that trap to stick around, and it's still got extra bonuses on the other stuff. Retractables, I do like my retractables. There's not much crit chance, but it goes up to 24% total, as you can see there. And that will make up for the extra, lacking. Reload speed and trap damage, they're two rolls I like on retractables. But these ones have been fine, and they have been great for all the missions I've had to do. Ideally, my favorite traps are ones with rolls like this one. They have one of each roll on the weapon. This has durability, crit chance, crit damage, trap damage, and reload speed. And you'll notice the raw damage and reload speed are my gold rolls, my rare rolls. That's exactly what I want to see on a weapon. It's a bit of everything. It's well-rounded. I've had all the legendaries, but I've chosen to go with epics because they simply have better rolls than the legendaries I've acquired for those weapons or traps. Do not be afraid to level epics or legendaries. They're all good. It all comes down to the rolls and your preferences. Here you'll see my floor spikes I've chosen to level are blue. This is because, as you'll see there, it costs 1 duct tape per floor spike. And then if I take you over here to the legendary, you'll see it costs me 2 duct tape per floor spikes. Now, wooden floor spikes are a rare trap in this game, in the sense that blue is probably better than legendary or anything else you could use. Because no matter what level the zombies are, these work very well in a 100 zone despite being underleveled. And that is because no matter what happens, it will still slow the enemies on the trap. And the use for this trap isn't to kill enemies, it's to slow them down so the other traps you have activated in your tunnels are killing them and have time to kill them and reload ready for the next mob. So, blue wooden floor spikes. It's the only trap in the game I would suggest you use at blue, and maybe the healing pad. But I kind of like mine just because it's got triple reload speed. If I had a legendary with triple reload, I'd probably level that into place of this. But it is cheaper on the herbs, and it's still gonna do the job I need it to do. Wall Axe. So stun time, durability, reload speed, they're the rolls you get. These things have a really long reload time, so preferably you want ones with lots of reload speed and stun time. But, once again, durability, well, the trap's going to last longer. Durability isn't a bad roll, don't let people tell you it's a terrible roll. It's definitely not a preferred one, but it can have its uses. Ideally, you want a couple of copies of each trap. You want them all leveled. You want them all with different rolls. So depending on different situations, you could place them in different spots. For example, my dynamos, they have no reload. They've got a slow reload time, but as you'll see there, they've got massive damage. Now, I would place them at random locations or at the back of my tunnel to finish enemies off, whereas earlier on I'd use other traps to try and deal with them. That's another benefit to traps. You can put a trap with high reload in a location that's gonna need to reload often, and then you can have a stronger trap that reloads a lot slower further back, so it can target and kill enemies and monsters and whatnot that are not getting there as often. So don't be disheartened by rolls, just think of how you could use those rolls to the most efficiency. I think that's everything. If I've missed anything, please comment in the post below. Not with, is this weapon good? Just with any questions you have in general about the weapon rolls and what you should be looking for if I've missed anything and haven't mentioned it. Just remember to read those descriptions at the bottom and make sure you're aware of the range and what your traps do and everything.